Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. This is a very interesting video by this Michael Boris, the Vortex. Arrest Bill Gates. That's what the gal said from. We see here that there's 218,000 views. This is on May 20th. I particularly like this quite a bit. Hopefully, this will give you a little more understanding of some of the wicked stuff going on in India and Africa, at least, if not in Italy. What is not covered here is that northern Italy, was a guinea pig for shots and led up to this pandemic and the destruction of deaths there. That's not covered here, but I can understand why the Italy gal in her Senate or Congress or political office is so upset with Bill Gates.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. An Italian politician caused a political upheaval last week when she said Bill Gates needs to be arrested on charges of crimes against humanity.
Arrested for crimes against humanity. And they're going to list some incidences in Africa and India, but they don't list the crimes that were specifically done to the Italian people in northern Italy.
The comments exploded across social media because of the underlying issue following Bill Gates. He's a fan of a smaller human population. And while he routinely pushes contraception and abortion as a means to lessen or decrease the number of new arrivals on the planet, there's another concern about him that raises even more eyebrows.
Now remember, his parents, his father and I think his mother-in-law, both were into population control through Planned Parenthood and euthanasia. So there's some real serious problems here as far as a messed up individual.
Hits his vaccine mania. Through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, by the way, wife Melinda is a baptized Catholic and a huge supporter of contraception to decrease the population, the foundation carries out the work of trying to shrink the number of humans. Sarah Cuniel of the Italian Parliament attacked her own government's heavy-handed and destructive response to the Wuhan crisis.
Heavy-handed and destructive response. Again, too much manipulation with money and power. Look at all the people wearing masks.
Saying it was carried out under the influence of Gates. She then went on to brand him as a vaccine criminal. Her words.
Vaccine criminal. You got that right. He's no medical individual. He's just doing that because of his money, power, and influence. And he is messed up, mentally and emotionally.
She also called out the link between the World Health Organization and Gates' funding of it, and caused further uproar when she tweeted out that Gates and his vaccines was just a means to, quote, free genocide, noting that Gates,
quote, free genocide. This is exactly what's going on in his mind. And the relationship between him and Fauci and WHO and Wuhan and other things is irrefutable if you get into it.
Gates is vaccine happy in poor countries. Recent news reports revealed Gates offered what amounted to a $10 million bribe to the Nigerian House of Representatives for a forced vaccination program for the Wuhan virus. Politicians in Nigeria turned down the offer flatly. The subject of vaccine-happy Gates' particular focus on youth has not gone uncommented on either. None other than Robert F. Kennedy Jr., nephew of President John F. Kennedy, and chairman of the Children's Health Defense, is on record on the CHD website saying, quote, vaccines for Bill Gates are a strategic philanthropy that feeds his many vaccine-related businesses.
Now, many, I don't know how many he has, but there's more than one. There's several. You get into this, he has several patents, several vaccine-related businesses. This is a messed up individual with no medical degrees or authority. Why is he doing this? Besides his messed up emotional mind and family mindset.
Including Microsoft's ambition to control a global vaccination ID enterprise and give him dictatorial control of global health policy.
Dictatorial control over global health policies with vaccinations. Think about that.
Closed quote. In 2000, Gates was allowed into India to direct the nation's immunization effort against polio. Under his leadership, up to 50 doses of polio vaccines were administered to enormous numbers of Indian children before they turned 5 years old. And hundreds of thousands of those children became paralyzed over the next roughly
Hundreds of thousands? You gotta be kidding.
20 years. While he was advancing his polio effort in India, he started up another vaccine program testing experimental HPV vaccines designed to protect against sexual infection. In 1 year alone, 2009, 23,000 young girls in India, were inoculated. According to Kennedy, 1,200 suffered severe side effects, with 7 young girls actually dying. As if India wasn't enough,
With several dying, 1,200 with severe side effects. Not a doctor. It's a mad individual.
Gates took his vaccine tour to Africa, where 50 of the 500 vaccinated children there developed paralysis. The left is always yammering on about colonialism, but apparently it's okay for leftist white men to use a nation to advance their social engineering, especially a black nation. Newspapers in South Africa took note. Quote, "We are guinea pigs for the drug makers," blared the headlines. So why does any of this matter beyond the level of pure disgust? Because Gates's money opens whatever doors he wants open, and right now, vaccines are all the rage. There's a love triangle between Dr. Anthony Fauci, the WHO, and Bill Gates, an interrelationship that many are...
Now, Fauci is not only pushing the WHO organization, CDC organization, but he was instrumental in the Wuhan's development and use of vaccines and probably the release. Now we're looking at the possible release of this stuff under his direction and abuse of this stuff under his direction.
Are becoming extremely bothered by, particularly in light of leftist governors talking about mandatory vaccines and penalties for refusing. Lots of ideas are being dropped into the media about travel cards, certificates to prove you've been vaccinated before you're going to be allowed into a store and so forth. Perhaps the wisest advice on all of this is that same Italian Minister of Parliament who said a resistance must form against the lockdown measures and a refusal to submit to any mandatory vaccine program that might be presented by Gates and his allies in the medical industrial complex. This story is only now taking shape.
Medical industrial complex. This is a medical warfare against populations of the world and the damage it causes to individuals. They've already done this for decades, at least since the 70s, if not earlier. And the CDC has bragged about it with the viruses on the soft tissue organs transferred from mother to infant and cancers that it's caused. This is beyond ridiculous.
Shape. Be assured, there is much more to come. Much more. God love.
Much more to come. You got that right. It's from the Vortex, and there's a lot of problems with these lies and these cover-ups and these abuses of power and authority. You can bet on it. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day. Resistance is real and has to be pushed out there. There are too many gullible sheep that are willing to sacrifice their bodies, their rights, their freedoms, just because the media and political people say so. And that is crazy. That is wrong and it's destructive. in several levels. Good day.